Okay. So, students, I'm going to start with chapter number 2, structure and physiography. And the topic which I'm going to discuss today is the Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalayas, the Arunachal Himalayas, and the Eastern Hills and the mountains. Okay. These three divisions of the Himalayas, they are basically a part of the eastern side of the Himalayan region. Okay. Basically, the western part of the Himalayas mainly include the Kashmir Himalaya and the Himachal and the Uttarakhand Himalaya, which we have discussed earlier actually. Okay. So basically the Kashmir Himalaya, it mainly include the part of the Himalayas which lies between the Indus River, okay, and the you can say the Satluj River actually. Basically it include the part of Jammu and Kashmir. And yesterday we have discussed about the Himachal Himalaya and the Uttarakhand Himalaya, which mainly include the state of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. So today we are going to discuss about the eastern part of the Himalayas, which is mainly divided into three broad divisions. That is the Darjeeling and the Sikkim region, Sikkim Himalaya, where like we are a part of this Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalayas. Then we will be discussing about the Arunachal Himalaya and the eastern hills and the mountains. So first of all, let us start with the Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalaya. Okay, so Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalaya, which we are going to discuss, is actually the part of the Himalayas where like we are indirectly related, though we are not exactly located in this Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalayas, but we are located very close to this Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalayan region. Okay. The Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalayas, they are flanked by the Nepal Himalayas in the west and the Bhutan Himalayas in the east. That means the Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalaya, okay, it is bounded by the Nepal Himalayas. That means by Nepal in the western side and by Bhutan in the eastern side. Okay, so what is the easternmost westernmost border of Darjeeling and Sikkim Himalaya? The Nepal Himalaya. And the easternmost border of this Darjeeling and Sikkim Himalaya is the Bhutan Himalaya. Okay, so this is the extension. This is the border of the Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalaya. Okay, the Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalaya, they mainly include the Darjeeling region of West Bengal. Okay, that is the hilly region, Darjeeling hilly region of the West Bengal, and the entire state of Sikkim. Okay, so this part of the Himalayas, that is the Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalayas, is a very small division. Okay, it is a very small part of the Himalayan region, but it is of very important significance actually. Okay, it is very much important, though it is very small, but it is very important. Okay, important part of this Himalayas actually. It is relatively small, but it is a most important, most significant part of the Himalayas actually. So this Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalayas is very much small. It is relatively small, but is a most significant part of the Himalayas, which is known for its fast-flowing rivers Tista. Okay, so this Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalaya is known for the fast-flowing river Tista. And here in this part of this Darjeeling and Sikkim Himalaya also, we are having the second highest peak of India. That is the Kanchenjunga actually. Okay, the highest peak of India, that is the Kanchenjunga. Okay, and even the deep valleys can be found here in this region actually. Okay, so in this Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalaya actually, we can find people of different ethnic groups. Okay, the Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalaya is mainly inhabited by the people of the different ethnic groups actually. The higher reaches of this region are inhabited by Lepcha tribes, while the southern part, particularly the Darjeeling Himalayas, has a mixed population of Nepali people, the Bengali speaking people, and also the tribal peoples who have migrated to this region from the central India actually. Okay, so this Darjeeling and the Himalayan region, okay, Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalayan region is a place where people of different castes and communities, they live together actually. Okay, and it is very much important, though it is a very small part of the Himalayas, but it is very much important because here we can find one of the fastest flowing river of our country, that is the Tista River, as well as the highest peak of India, that is the Kanchenjunga River, exists in this part of the Himalayas actually. The British, taking advantage of the physical conditions such as the moderate slope, okay, thick soil cover with high organic content, well-distributed rainfall throughout the year, and mild winters, they introduced the tea plantation in this region. So the Britishers, okay, they took advantage of the physical conditions of this Darjeeling and the Sikkim region, okay, basically the Darjeeling region, and here the soil is like very favorable for growth of this tea plants and all. Okay, So what the Britishers did is that they started the tea plantation in this region. Okay, they started the tea plantation in this region. So here you can see that the availability of the organic soil, means the soil rich in organic content, equal distribution of rainfall. Okay, this and mild winters, actually it has favored the development of tea plantation in this region. As compared to the other sections of the Himalayas, these, along with the Arunachal Himalayas, are conspicuous by the absence of the Shivalik formations. Okay, as compared to the other part of the Himalayas, like the Uttarakhand and the Sikkim Himalaya. Okay, sorry, Uttarakhand, Himachal and the Uttarakhand Himalayas and all. In this part of Darjeeling and Sikkim Himalaya, we does not have the Shivalik formation actually. Okay, so basically in the Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalaya and in the Arunachal Himalaya, the Shivalik formation is not there. But instead of the Shivalik formation, we can find here the Tarai and the Duars region. Okay, the Tarai and the Duars region are the foothills part of this region actually. Okay, here we don't have the Shivalik formation. See, in place of the Shivaliks here, the Duars formations are important, which have also been used for the development of tea gardens. Okay, so instead of the Shivaliks formation, here we are having the Duars formation as well as the Terai formation actually. Okay, and this Duars region, okay, that is the foothills of this Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalayas, which is known as the Duars actually. It is also used for the development of tea gardens and all. So we can find many numbers of large tea gardens in the Duars region of this Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalayas actually. Okay. The Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalaya is also famous for tourist destinations actually. Okay, it is also famous for tourist destination, and like every year we can see that many number of national and the international tourists, they come to visit this region actually. Okay, so basically the Sikkim and the Darjeeling Himalayas are also known for their scenic beauty, rich flora and fauna. Okay, particularly various types of orchids can be found here. Okay, and even in this Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalaya, like we can find the Nathula Pass, okay, which was this Nathula Pass was a part of the Silk Route actually, okay, and like through which the international trade was carried out in the ancient period between India and the other countries of the world actually. Okay, so this Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalaya, though it is a very small, it is very important because here the highest peak of India, that is Kanchenjunga, can be found here. The fastest flowing river like the Tista is here. Here the people, they belong to various ethnic groups and all. Okay, the tea plantation is mainly developed in this region. Okay, after Assam, the tea plantation is more developed in this Darjeeling region actually. Okay, so this is the importance of Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalayas. So if you can, if you see this map, you can find out that where Darjeeling and Sikkim Himalaya is exactly located. So here you can see where it is written Great Himalayas. Just below the Great Himalayas, you see Kanchenjunga, it's written actually. Okay, so this part actually, this small part, just a little bit lower of Kanchenjunga, this part. Okay, this part is the Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalaya actually. Okay, this entire state is the Sikkim region, and just below Sikkim region, this part is the Darjeeling region. Okay, so it is a very small divisions of the Himalayas, but it is also very important. Okay, so here you can see that the Tista river is flowing. Okay, and this part is the on this side. Okay, we are having the Nepal Himalayas. On the right hand side, we are having the Bhutan Himalayas. Okay, that is the country of Nepal and Bhutan in the west and the east. Okay, so next we are going to discuss about the Arunachal Himalaya. So Arunachal Himalaya basically include the part of the Himalayas which lie between Bhutan and the Brahmaputra river. Okay, that means from here. Okay, from here till here, this part of the Himalayas is known as the Arunachal Himalayas. Okay, and this part, after this, the Himalayas does not go straight, but the Himalayas, they take a sharp bend towards the south. And here you can see the Mizo Hills, Naga Hills, and the Patkai Hills and all. This is actually the Eastern Himalayas or the Purvanchal Hills. So we are going to discuss about this Arunachal Himalayas now. Okay. The Arunachal Himalayas. This extend from the east of the Bhutan Himalayas up to Diffu Pass in the east. So basically the boundary of Arunachal Himalayas is Bhutan in the, okay, it extends from the east of the Bhutan. That means Bhutan in the western side, okay, means from the eastern side of Bhutan till Diffu Pass in the east. In between this, the part of the Himalayas which exists is known as the Arunachal Himalayas. Okay. The general direction of the mountain range is from the southwest to the northeast. So basically the mountains, okay, the range of the mountain in this Arunachal Himalaya is from the southwest direction to the northeast direction. Okay, it is from the southwest to the northeast direction. That means the mountains, they run from the southwest part to the northeast part. And in this region, in this Arunachal Himalayas, some of the important mountain peaks of our country can be found. That is the Kangtu and the Namcha Barwa. Okay, Namcha Barwa is one of the important mountain pass, actually, mountain peak actually. From this Namcha Barwa only, the river Brahmaputra, okay, it enters our country. These ranges are dissected by the fast flowing rivers from the north to the south, forming deep gorges. Okay, so basically, these ranges of the Himalaya, that is the Arunachal Himalaya, okay, it is dissected. That means it is separated into different small divisions, okay, by the fast flowing rivers, okay, such as the Dihang, the Dibang, and all. Okay, the Dihang, the Dibang, the Subansri, etc. Okay. The Brahmaputra flows through a deep gorge after crossing Namcha Barwa. And the river Brahmaputra actually, okay, means after, actually the river Brahmaputra means when it passes through Tibet, it is known as Sangpo. And it when enters India, actually in Arunachal Pradesh, it is known as uh, Dihang. Okay. And later on, Dihang and Dibang, they both join together and they enter Assam, and it is known as Brahmaputra. Okay. So basically, you can say here that the river Brahmaputra, it enters our country from Namcha Barwa. Okay, from Namcha Barwa, it enters our country. Means here is the peak Namcha Barwa, and here you can see that the Sangpo river, it is coming, and from here, when it enters Arunachal Pradesh, it is known as Dihang. Okay, and this Dihang river is later on joined by the Lohit river. Okay, so the Lohit river and the Dihang river, they join together, they enter Assam, and then it is known as the Brahmaputra. Okay, and it is the third largest river of our country after Ganga and the Indus. So in this part of this Himalayas, actually, okay, like in this part of this Himalayas, like some of the important rivers which flows are the Kameng River, the Subansri River, the Dihang River, the Dibang, and the Lohit. Okay, and all these rivers, they flow at a torrential speed, actually. It means they flow at a very higher speed, and there is a huge potential of generating hydroelectricity from this part of this Arunachal Himalaya. Actually. Okay, so this Arunachal Himalaya is not so much developed than the other part of the Himalayas, actually, but here there is a huge potential of generating solar hydroelectricity, actually. Okay, and even strategically also, this Arunachal Himalaya is very much important, because from this Arunachal Himalayas, okay, like we are having border with the Nepal, with the with the country of Bhutan and China also. Okay, so strategically, the Arunachal Himalayas is very much important, actually. An important aspect of the Arunachal Himalaya is the numerous ethnic tribal community in these areas. So basically, the most important characteristics of this Arunachal Himalaya is that in this Arunachal Himalayas, numerous ethnic tribal communities can be found. Okay, means different small tribal groups of people, they have settled in this part of this Arunachal Himalaya, like in the state of Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, and all. Okay. Some of the prominent ones are from west to the east are the Monpa, the Abor, the Mismi, the Nisi, and the Nagas. Okay, these are the some of the common tribal groups. Okay, who have settled in this part of this Arunachal Himalaya. And even this part of Arunachal Himalaya, in this part of Arunachal Himalaya, the people, they mainly practice Jhuming. Okay, they mainly practice Jhuming. Jhuming is actually a type of agriculture where the forest is being cleared. Okay, means the forest is being cut down. Okay, it is cleared, and then the farmers, okay, they carry out the agricultural practice, which is also known as shifting cultivation. Okay, and it is known as Jhuming in the local name, actually. So most of these communities, they practice Jhuming, and it is also known as the shifting agriculture or slash and burn agriculture. Okay, this region is rich in biodiversity, which has been preserved by the indigenous communities. And in this part of the Arunachal Himalayas, actually, like it is very much rich in biodiversity. That means in this part of Arunachal Himalaya, we can find different species of flora and fauna. That means different species of plants and animals, wild animals. Okay, and it has been protected. Okay, this species of plants and animals has been protected by the indigenous communities, by the local communities. Okay, by the people of the local areas and all. And due to rugged topography, the inter-valley transportation linkages are nominal. And this Arunachal Himalaya is not so much developed in terms of transport facilities and all. Okay, because the inter-valley transportation linkages are like very minimum, actually, not nominal. Hence, most of the interactions are carried out through the Duars region along the Arunachal Assam border. Okay, so basically, in order to reach some of the extreme areas of this Arunachal Himalayas, okay, like we have to follow the Duars region of the means the foothills of Arunachal Pradesh and Assam. Okay. So this is what about the Arunachal Himalayas actually. Okay, so next we are going to start about the eastern hills and the mountains. Okay, so first of all, you just check the map actually. So this part, okay, means the part of Assam, okay, means the part of the hill regions of Assam and entire Arunachal Pradesh, it comes under the Arunachal Himalaya. And now we are going to discuss about the eastern Himalayas. So the eastern Himalayas basically include this part. Okay, so as you can see, the Himalayas, it runs from the state of Jammu and Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh till Namcha Barwa. But after Namcha Barwa, the Himalayas, it takes a sharp bend. Okay, the Himalayas, it takes a sharp bend and it starts moving towards the southern direction. Okay, so this southern extension of the Himalayas actually means the bend which has moved towards the southern part is known as the eastern hills, as because it forms the easternmost border. Okay, it forms the easternmost border of the Himalayas actually. Okay, it is also known as the Purvanchal Hills or the Purvanchal Himalayas. The eastern hills and mountains. These are part of the Himalayan mountain system having their general alignment from the north to the south direction. And they are known by the different local names actually. Okay, so these are part of the Himalayan mountain system having their general alignment from the north to the south. Okay, so it is the eastern hills and the mountain is also a part of the Himalayas actually, but the alignment is from the north to the south actually. That means the mountains or the hills of this region, they move from the northern part to the southern part. Okay. And it is known by different local names. Actually, it is divided into three main like subdivisions. Okay, and they are known by different local names actually. Okay, in the north, they are known as the Patkai Boom, the Naga Hills, the Manipur Hills, and in the south as Mizo Hills or the Lusai Hills. Okay, so depending upon basically the part of the eastern Himalaya which lies in Nagaland, it is known as the Naga Hills and the Patkai Hills. The part of the Himalayas which can be found in the state of Manipur is known as the Manipur Hills. Okay, and the part of the eastern hills and the mountains which lies in the state of Mizoram is known as the Mizo Hills or the Lusai Hills actually. Okay. So these are low hills inhabited by the numerous tribal groups practicing jhum cultivation. Okay, so basically this eastern Himalayas and the mountains, it does not have a higher elevation. Okay, means the height of the mountains of this region is not so high. Okay, it is having a low hills actually. The hills are very lower in height. So as because the hills are lower in height, so here human habitation has become possible. Okay, so many of the numerous tribal communities, okay, they have settled in this region and they practice jhuming agriculture. They practice jhuming farming. Okay, from where they earn their livelihood actually. Most of these ranges are separated from each other by the numerous small rivers. Okay, so most of these ranges, they are separated from each other by numerous small rivers. The Barak is an important river in Manipur and Mizoram. Okay, so basically the river Barak is a river. The name of the river is Barak actually, and it is the most important river of Manipur and Mizoram actually. The physiography of Manipur is unique by the presence of a large lake known as the Loktak Lake at the center, surrounded by mountains from all sides. Okay, and one of the most important feature, okay, physical feature of the eastern hills and mountains is the Loktak Lake. Okay, means the entire state of Manipur is surrounded. Okay, means this around this Loktak Lake actually. Okay, the physiography of Manipur is unique by the presence of a large lake known as Loktak Lake at the center, surrounded by mountains on all sides. So this Loktak Lake is surrounded by hills on all sides actually. Okay. Mizoram, which is also known as the molasses basin, which is made up of self-unconsolidated deposit. Okay, and the state of Mizoram, okay, means here the soil deposits is actually mainly made up of the unconsolidated deposit. Unconsolidated deposit means small pebbles and sands and stones. Okay, this has got deposit and led to the formation of the plains in this Mizoram. Most of the rivers in Nagaland form the tributary of the Brahmaputra. Okay, So most of the rivers in Nagaland, they form the tributary of the river Brahmaputra actually. Okay, so many rivers which flow through this Nagaland state of Nagaland, they actually join the river Brahmaputra in its later flows. Okay, while two rivers of Mizoram and Manipur are the tributaries of Barak River, which in turn is the tributary of Meghna. Okay, so two rivers of Mizoram and Manipur, they are the tributaries of Barak. Okay, and this Barak River is again a tributary of Meghna River. That means the Barak River, it joins the Meghna River actually. The rivers in the eastern part of Manipur are the tributaries of Chindwin, which in turn is a tributary of the Irrawaddy of Myanmar. Okay, so like the rivers in the eastern part of Manipur actually, okay, the rivers which flow in the eastern part of Manipur actually, they are the tributaries of Chindwin River. Chindwin is the main river which flows from here, and many small rivers they join this Chindwin actually. Okay, and this Chindwin River is later on joined. Okay, the Chindwin River later on joins the Irrawaddy River, which flows through Myanmar actually. Okay, so this is what about the eastern hills and mountains. Okay, so this is the map actually. Once again, I am showing you like this is the map of the eastern hills and the mountains. Okay, so Patkai Boom here, Nagaland is okay, the Naga Hills and the Mizo Hills. Okay, so this is what about the eastern hills and the mountains. So I hope you all have understood about the Darjeeling and the Sikkim Himalayas, the Arunachal Himalayas, and the eastern hills. Okay, which is also known as the Purvanchal Himalayas.